Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my Flosstube channel. Today is Saturday, March 16th, 2024, and I'm happy to be here with you today to talk about my stitching, some previous finishes and displays that I'd like to share, and a giveaway at the end shared by a really talented designer that contacted me last week. I had less stitching time than I wanted, but I thought it would be a good time to revisit some of these displays that I've got around my home for springtime. I know we see a lot of cross stitching and things on Flosstube, but we don't always see displays and ideas for how to actually share our stitching to our family and people that visit our home. I always appreciated that about Priscilla when I first started Flosstube. When I first started stitching, it was because Priscilla and Chelsea showed ways to put cross stitching in your home that didn't necessarily include framing. That's all I really had ever seen my grandma and other cross stitch friends do was frame their stitching. So the idea that you could make it into pillows and cutouts and flat folds and all the different ways we finish was really eye-opening to me. So I hope I can show some inspiration for you today, or have you be inspired today by what I show. And then I have quite a few whips. I've been a little bit squirrely over the last couple weeks, and I wanted to go ahead and check in, even though, like I said, I didn't get a ton of stitching. I got a lot of different kinds of stitching. So lots of different things for all different tastes. I'll start, I guess, with showing some of these displays around me. I have like 6. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. I'd already showed the other one last time. But I know I've shown this before, but I arranged it a little differently this year. This is the first one I wanted to share. I have several different types of crafts in this one. This embroidery, and it has a little bit of glitter on it. I think it came from one of my mom's bunnies that I had in here with it. I'd seen the idea for this on Pinterest, and I thought, well, gosh, that's just like free, writing. I used one of the friction pins. I could have brought it in here, but I think you've seen them before. They're just a brand called Friction. And when you put heat on them, the writing disappears. So I literally just wrote on this fabric that I dyed myself. I think it was just some muslin or maybe even some scrap sheets. I dipped it in some tea, or actually usually I do instant coffee. Some instant coffee and some Rit dye, probably like a little bit of apple green. And then used a green DMC to fill in some gardening kind of words. And last time I had this with a gnome and a smaller one, but I kind of like it on this wide display with some greenery from Hobby Lobby. And then I have these little bunnies that come from a group or from a pattern on Etsy. And I like the patch that I put on the back. They're supposed to be a garland, a whole bunch of them, which I could always do that if I wanted to. But I thought they turned out so cute. They had little pink cheeks, and I used some sheep's wool that I got on Etsy from a shepherd and just tacked that in there with a felting pen. So I kind of just have them laid out. Like I said, I didn't have them this way last year, but I like the way that looks, and it's nice to be able to do something completely for free other than this Etsy pattern, because this one I just made it myself, and I think it has like some buttons and pins. I think it's filled with walnut shells, which I also really like. So that's one. This bowl too, I know I found it at a kind of a flea market type place in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. I got it there on a vacation, and I think it cost $12. So if you do keep your eye open, you don't have to spend, $50, $60 for a dough bowl. You can find them cheaper. I'm not even sure this is actual wood. It might be resin, but I think it's wood. That's actually a pretty good deal, isn't it? Like I said, several years ago, I think inflation's drawn a lot of prices up. I have some smaller ones here too in front of me that are easier. Sometimes if you just have one pillow, this one's kind of fat and chunky, so I like to have it kind of propped up in this McCoy pot. I think it's a McCoy. Actually, no, it's just some kind of U.S. pottery. I find these at garage sales, antique malls. I don't shop for antiques as much as I used to, but I've got quite a collection of these. I also got some from a relative that passed away. So I like to have things kind of I don't know, kind of highlights it a little better. And this was a fun embroidery I did 2 years ago from Chestnut Junction. Has a lot of like basket weave, and then those bunnies that are on the dark coffee stained muslin background, and then the back is really cute. This is really heavy because it's filled with walnut shells, so it kind of feels like a weapon, but it's one of my favorites. I just like to hold it. It has a good textural feel. So that's one way to do just one pillow. Just kind of set it off with a pot. You might have some of those hanging around. Of course, you clean it. I like to use a Miracle sponge or a, what do you call those? Mr. Clean. They have off-brand ones. Those really clean up a piece of pottery on the inside good, especially if it's had like real dirt in it. And then here's another one that I do. This basket was one that was at my mom's house, and it's super lightweight, so that's nice. But I put just like a flower in there. Kind of looks like lettuce leaves, I thought. And then this bunny. This one is from Hudson Holidays. And again, I like that white on a dark, grungy background. This was actually a linen napkin that my mom had, and I don't use cloth napkins. I never have been that formal. So I thought, what, these are just sitting in a drawer for years. Let me use them. And so I think I got several. Yeah, I took a couple over there as well, but I like that it had the green on it. So I grunged it up pretty harsh and then used some Lazy Daisy stitches for those flowers. And it just sits in this basket. So again, it's fun to have things displayed other than just sitting on a shelf. And then the last two, I think I've shown this one before. Okay, I got interrupted. I was showing this lantern that my mom got me a long time ago that I keep a bird nest in from our patio umbrella outside, and it's really glary, so let me open that. But there's some eggs in there that were left by the bird, and I waited a long time to make sure the bird wasn't coming home to her babies, but it was abandoned. So here's Jenny. She is a wren designed by Stacy Nash, and it's a lot of stitching, these little crackers are, but they're real quick fill-in, so it was a lot of fun. And I think that color is Brethren Blue by Gentle Arts. I love that variegation on that. And I just used some corduroy from an old pair of pants that I dyed. And I wish I had used interfacing on her. That was the one thing I didn't do when I finished this. I showed you how I did, or I talked about it in a video. And then I also highlighted her in a bird video I did. But she lives in there with her nest, and I think it's a cute way to highlight a bird finish. It could be any number of different bird finishes. I like the ones from Scattered Seeds a lot, but I like that she's a cutout. Someone asked me once, what's an animal cracker? It's just the name that Stacy Nash gave these little figurines that she designed. Anthropomorphic, that's a fun word. So that's a way to display a bird finish. And then the last one I want to share is the biggest one. This I put on Instagram the other day. I think it's just fun. It's a little brighter than my other things, but it has some of my grandma's things, and this was actually my mom's bunny. Mine is kind of vintagey looking, like really stained, but she wanted hers to be bright white, so I don't usually do that, but I do like the way she looks in there. This pattern was on Etsy, and it comes in 3 different heights, so it's supposed to be a trio. And I used some wax, beeswax on these twine whiskers. I think they look cute, so I sewed that up from probably some old sheets, it looks like, or maybe just muslin, but I think it's sheets because I usually buy raw muslin, not the white. And then this egg I like because it was something in my grandma's things. Just kind of decoupage on there. Tell he's jumping on a chair, you can hear. But these were all different designers. Let's see, this was from Pinker and Pumpkin. She does those mug finishes, or crock, I think she calls them. Several different seasons are available on that, but that was a chick. And then this chick comes from Snowflower Diaries. And I made up those threads myself. I used kind of a hand-dyed one that I had from a variegated one. And then there's some kind of embroidery stitches on top. That's one of my favorites. And then this is also a freebie from Snowflower Diaries. She does every season of these little witches. It's black in the pattern, but I made it purple. I think I said that for my daughter. She picked out those colors. I just have some felt on the back. And then this is the one I was referring to from the napkin. It's a little harder to see, but it's got a little peep on there, and it has some satin stitches, and I like the way the silk sari looks on that. So that's just a fun little display this galvanized trough I got from Hobby Lobby. That's where I get a lot of my different finishing things from. But it's just fun to set those around the house, and they become kind of like a tradition when they come out every year. It's fun to revisit them. And I haven't got everything out. I know I have a lot more bunnies from my mom. I have a whole big tub full over here. She loved rabbits. But the way the cross stitch is done, I think that's pretty much all of them. I have a couple more to show next video, but I wanted to stop in before I got too late to share the giveaway that I wanted to at the end. In the meantime, though, let me go get all the different whips I've been working on, and I'll share this with you. Thanks. I'll try to go quickly through all these whips. I have 7 different projects that I worked on since we last visited, which is quite a few for me. I have a goal of finishing this Hawk Run Hollow, and pardon my rustling, I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can so I can't get everything out, but I wanted to finish this block, and it's been a real booger, as some of them are, actually all of them to be honest, but I'm really close. I did the little hay bucket, I finished the fountain. In fact, I've got the needle still in there, and I just have a little bit of fill in around there, a few little details. There's a lot of color changes on this block, so it is almost done, but I have a goal to finish it this month. I thought even if I don't finish it in 2 weeks, that's okay. I'll just pull it out and put in one little motif each time, and then it's on to I think the mill is the one I want to do next. But making good progress on Village of Hawk Run Hollow, 36 count linen, 2 threads over 2, very bulky, but very bright as a result. So still have a goal to finish that this year, and I think I can make a finish on that block by the end of the month. I probably won't show you until the middle of April though. And then I have a real small start on, I'm showing you the ones I've already shown you before, and then I'll show you my new starts. But this project is going pretty well for April. I had a little bit of an oops on the fabric that I'm using to do this grid on. I wanted to center it, but it's got a couple of little oops with dye. I started over there and then I changed my mind, so I'm gonna have to put some fabric in on either side to do my drum for April. But there's something about, and I think someone else agreed with me in the comments, there's something about getting that frame in. It's not totally difficult, but it's not easy either. It's a lot of counting. So once I get that frame in, I feel like the project is just so much easier and so much more fun. So I got April's frame done last night, and then I worked some more on my Mary Needleworker from Lindy Stitches. Stephanie did such a good job on this design. I think it's so cute. And that skirt is no joke. It's just line after line after line. I think that's all I worked on this time. I think I finished the writing there for Needleworker, and I filled in what was between needle and worker. So it doesn't look like a lot, but it's, like I said, hundreds of stitches. And then I've still got some detail down here and on the other side. So all said and done, it's not a huge design, but it is bigger than I realized, as often is the case with those things. But the skirt is going well. Just have to keep plugging away at it. And then I did some more work. And with this one, Louisa Coulimore, I think I've decided to go the route of 1 thread a day. If I pull it out just once a month, I don't feel like I'm getting very much progress on it. It's one of those that you just kind of have to chip away at. It feels never ending, but it's not. It's not. I've gotten a couple more rows on the alphabet up here. I hadn't finished this row, which I got to. I think I did like from N all the way over here, which, like I said, every letter takes about 20 minutes and it takes its own thread. So, and then I got this done, and I almost messed up. You'll notice Louisa put TUVVW, and I almost missed it because I started automatically just putting TUVW. And then when I looked at the chart, I was like, oh, there's another V in there. I don't know if she started on W and then just thought that was the V and kept going, because it looks more like the beginning of the W than it does the previous V. But, you know, those are the little quirks that you keep in a vintage sampler. And I just realized that lamp is showing through. It's getting darker and darker as I film. It's a really rainy day here in Fort Worth today. But I wanted to stop in, like I said, so I don't get off track too much. But I'm gonna continue. I've done probably about 10 threads on that, and I'm gonna keep trying to do one each day before bed. Then it doesn't get as boring either because it's a little bit tedious, those alphabets. Worth it though, it's so pretty. And then the other projects I worked on are new. I think I've shown you all the ones that are kind of my rotation, and feeling a little bit discouraged but not giving up on them because I do, like I said, want to move forward with some of these whips that have been here forever. But I was reminded of this color scheme on my Cricut Spring picture. Is that what it's called? Just Spring? I think that's all it's called. There's 4 of these, of course, one for each season. And it's hard to see in that model picture, so I had chosen this really bright fabric, which isn't anything I use very often, but I do love the way the colors pop on this periwinkle monaco. I dyed myself. And I removed one element. If you've seen this before, it has a hat on the edge of the S. I think most of, yeah, see how hard it is to read? Most of them do have hats, and I don't love hats, so I took that off and just made it a regular S. And then I got started on this. I finished the fence, that wasn't done, and I got started on the R. The threads on these are such a booger. The best way I've found to do it is to take a file. It's two-sided, and then just fill it in. Because if I'm searching for the threads every time, it is so much more time consuming. There's a lot of color changes. There's a lot of little tiny details, which is what drew me to this. I used to doodle like this. I used to love to do bubble letters and put little things on them. And so it is a lot of fun. I've almost abandoned this project a couple times, but I thought if I just do one letter a season, I don't care. Just keep plugging away at it. And then I wanted to put it in the center of a cotton wreath I have. That's been my goal for a long time, but I actually own all of the different designs for winter and summer. I have summer, started to kit it up, and I have some gray fabric. I think they'll look really pretty for that one. So I don't know if I'll work on spring and just get one letter and then start summer, or if I'll just keep going with spring, but they're really cute designs, really old. I think I got it on eBay, so you can still find them. And the other whip, before I show my new start and giveaway, almost done, was this smaller piece by Shakespeare's Peddler. And I was looking at, what inspired this was I was looking at Misty of Luminous Fiber Arts purple bird that she did. I don't know what she's calling it. I can't remember. It's got violets on it actually, and it has a silk. And I thought, oh, that would be such a fun project, but I remembered this project. And I thought, I'm not going to start another bird pin pillow until I finish antique birds, because this is really pretty similar. I'd like to put these in my bedroom, in fact. So what I did work on, I have this kind of hand-dyed blue floss. What I do is like take a paintbrush and just streak it with some instant coffee and let it dry so that it has some variegation to it. It's not super noticeable, but it is there. I had this bird finished. What I did this time was this cage, and that's a lot of stitches. It's still got a ways to go, but this is actually the largest motif on this piece. So I figured if I could get that big cage done, and it still has a few more details on the sides, but I got the bird, and you can't notice the details when you're looking at the pattern, but it has a cute little heart on top with those 2 birds. So that's the largest motif, and I'd really like to see this finished by the end of the month. I have some beautiful lace upstairs, and I dyed this corduroy to match the thread. The same time I did that. It's been since the pandemic, I think, when I started that on a whim because I felt like a caged bird when we were in lockdown, and so this piece will kind of remind me of that. And I also love the cat one from her. They're all really cute, but I want to do the cat one in red. So yeah, wanted to get that finished this month. I'm sort of doing a whip go board. I'm trying to pull out whips as I think of them, and like I said, that Misty Purcell market piece inspired me that I couldn't get that until I finished the one I have. But I did also have one new start that I wanted to share with y'all, and then the designer that contacted me very sweetly on Instagram asked if she could share a pattern with me and then give one away to some of my viewers, or to one of my viewers. So this is a new creation studio by Alison, and I'd seen these before. She did a really pretty nativity, what do they call those samplers that are kind of long and have different scenes, but a beautiful nativity sampler and lots of pretty designs. I'd already had her marked on my Etsy as some favorites, so when she contacted me I was so pleased. This one is called It Is Finished, and I've been wanting to do a cross for Easter. Hadn't started one yet. Had a couple on my radar though, and so this was just perfect timing. So what I did was I found this scrap of green. This is very different from her design, but again, I wanted it to be a little bit more springish for my color scheme. And oh, you can see I haven't pulled everything out. I did 3 different colors on that kind of filigree design that she has there behind. She did this with a really nice dark fabric, and I'm sort of fighting what I chose because it's not showing up. I've done a white and then a light kind of lavender color. I think it's a DMC 23. I tried this one, which I thought would show up, but it really didn't. And so I kind of scrapped that and went with this Sullivan blue, or JP Coates blue. And I think it'll be really pretty with the green and blue, especially in this room, which is kind of my scheme. So this scrap was from a subscriber, and then the pattern was from a friend. So I feel like this is kind of a collaborative project. It was really nice. And I'm using a little bit softer. She used like wagon wheel and like a burnt umber color for the darker cross, but I'm making mine with some kind of taupes, like 840 and 841. So hopefully that'll be enough contrast, but I like it a little softer, and it is really, really well designed. I like this inner border. It's kind of a cheat for you because it is easier to count these little pieces, and then all you do is just go all the way around. So I appreciated that little detail. It makes it easier to count. And it's only 60, I've got that sideways. It's only like 63 by 63. So a cute little Easter project, and like I said, I hope to have that finished by the end of the month to show you. And as I do, I always think in groups. I thought, well, since I'm going to do that cross, I want to have a few other pieces to go with it, and I don't think I'll get these finished, but I'm keeping them all together in a bag. I have these sweet little snippets from Lizzie Kate that were also gifts from my friend and a different friend, and I thought that would be cute in there with that basket, kind of a religious Easter focus. This Lizzie Kate one is bigger, but it has this pen keep down here that's an alphabet. It's hard to see it. It's really tiny. It's like 40 by something. So I thought I might do that one, this faith one, and then there's a love one too. So I don't know where the cover went for that love one. That's another Lizzie Kate little tiny snippet, love sampler, 40 by 67. So I have 3 or 4 different Lizzie Kates with that cross, and I'll probably put them on a little tray in my bedroom. So I hope to have that to show you by the end of the month too. Like I said, I didn't have new finishes today, but I had some new starts, and Alison did offer a giveaway. I'd like you to, I think it's any design on her Etsy page, so you can check out a new creation studio and look through some of them if you want to enter to win. And I think it comes through email, so the giveaway is international. Please be over 18. Don't use the words giveaway or free, nothing that would attract trolls. And I will announce the winner. I wanted to get this out sooner than later because a lot of these are Easter related, so I will announce the winner on April 1st. And like I said, if you want to, if you're interested in the giveaway, put new creation in your comment. If you'll comment that, I will go through it. I don't think my random generator is working, so I'll have to do a number generator, but I will count up anyone that's interested in winning one of Alison's designs if you put the word new creation in your comment. I thank you for spending time with me today. I know this is kind of a quicker video. I'm sort of just kind of in the middle of all of the work I'm doing, but I thought sometimes it's good to see some previous finishes too. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I've been doing spring break with my kids this week. We've been pretty busy. We spent about 5 hours at an arcade the other day that's called Free Play. So all the machines are free, and that was a lot of fun. It wore my hand out though, so I missed this day of stitching with that. And then we've just been spending time together and playing lots of board games, and it's been kind of rainy and gross, but spring break is over, so I hope to have a little more time next week and in the following weeks to finish some projects and share with you next time. But thank you again for, like I said, the encouragement you give and the sweet comments. They mean so much to me, and I hope that you are well as I finish all of my videos in the book of Psalms, chapter 90, verse 17. It says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Take care.